Does anybody want to do a synopsis? All right, and I don't see our lieutenant up there.
Yeah, Lieutenant did give me you give me one sec. I can read an update from Lieutenant here. I know he missed DPAC and he was trying to make it today. So I will read Lieutenant's update here for the good group. Last month through, I believe, St. Patrick's Day weekend, there's 5 bar inspections, 1 violation issued, drug charges 6, all misdemeanors, 4 DWIs downtown, and then 80 on the other categories. He had no major incidents to report regarding St. Patrick's Day weekend festivities, so that's always a good positive. And last but not least, they purchased a new horse for the mounted unit, and they will be planning to retire Comey. I'm not sure which horse Comey is out of the 2 or 3 that cycle in downtown, but apparently he has been with the mounted unit for 18 years. So they're officially going to retire him soon and cycle in the new horse. So that's all we had from Lieutenant Nichols.
Okay, Christina, WDI.
Well, this is a potential action item by committee. We are nearing capacity on all our facade improvement grants. We have been already approved half of the grant funding for this fiscal year, 3 $2,500 grants and 1 $5,000 grant for the old Finkelstein's property, which is currently undergoing a renovation right now. We have had an influx of grants come through, and we are totaling a little over $17,000 worth of backed up applications right now that we are looking to approve some of those next week during our grants committee meeting. We have also had some interest from other folks like the trust building HOA, because it seems that city code enforcement is going through and taking a closer look on our downtown commercial properties and giving them notice of repair or and the like. And so we are receiving a lot of interest in the facade improvement grant program to help get some of the properties that have received some of these notices back up to par. So right now I have 2 $5,000 grants in the queue, as well as 4 $2,500 grants. And I feel that with the conversations that I've been having with other folks, there may be more coming down the pipeline. So as we are still working to get moving this public safety grant program, which I hope to have terms and conditions finalized and the application finalized by next week. I don't feel with myself being down 1 staff member now that we'll be able to get all of those public safety grants. So I'd like to see if the committee would entertain moving some of the funding, approximately $15,000 of funding from the public safety grants and into the facade improvement grant program, so we can continue to facilitate grants for the building and property owners that are in need right now that are needing repairs. And most of them are repairs and building upgrades. Some are for signage as well, but we've always had a mix in the program for both structure and signage, awnings, fresh paint, and that sort of thing. So that would leave us $10,000 to try and divvy out for the public safety grant program, which I do have one interested whenever it launches. So I think we can most likely facilitate those 4 grants. We're looking at $2,500 max grant for the public safety grant program. We're not going to do a $5,000 grant for the public safety grant, so we'll have $10,000 to divvy out. And yeah, so if there's any questions, I'd be happy to take them. But I'm just asking to see if we can do that and get approval from this committee to utilize the funds in that manner.
And just a reminder for everyone, historically, each year we've allocated, I think, 25,000 for the facade improvement grants for WDI to administer through the program. Last year, we added an additional 25 for the safety improvement type grants. So we're really, I think it was Elizabeth's idea, if I'm not mistaken, looking to focus on cameras and lighting and just improvements in some of the alleys. And really focus on that. So we allocated an additional 25. So I think in this case, sounds like Christina's got a big demand for our normal improvement grants and not as much of a demand for the additional 25K. So I think from the city's perspective, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's all in this, I mean, within their budget, it's all in the same account. We had just structured it so it was
Some with safety, some with.
one going this way, one going right, but yeah, so yeah, from the city's perspective.
So you want to move 15K from the safety grants
So the solid grants.
to the side.
Yes, sir.
Now, are there any stipulations if a company gets $2,500, but their project's 5,000, that they have to show that they completed the project?
Yes, so it's a reimbursement grant program, so they don't receive the funding right away. I require all of the construction projects to all the property owners or business owners, because it could be for property owners or business owners, to submit their invoices, their paid invoices to WDI, and I go ahead and tally it up to make sure it reaches that threshold of the maximum grant threshold to receive, and then we issue a check. So we keep documentation. We also go through and make sure that they did what they said that they were going to do.
That's different.
And yes, I work closely with property owners in that manner. So far, everybody's pretty much did what they say they're going to do and either met or exceeded their original estimates for cost of construction. And some of them, they don't have to maximize the grant program. I try and encourage property owners to take advantage and maximize the grant program if they're going to be doing construction anyway. So for instance, if they're doing an awning and it costs, I don't know, $4,000, we're like, well, if you're gonna do that, then you might as well paint the building or do something to make sure
Get
you
all the
reach
$5,000
that threshold to maximize the grant program, since you're gonna be doing it anyway. And it's a reimbursement up to 50% of the total cost of the project, up to $2,500 for a single facade or $5,000 for a dual facade that's facing a street in a street or a street in an alleyway. So that makes sure that they're public facing sides that are in need of beautification or revamping.
So do you need a motion to move the money from one account to the
So
other one or
I
not?
think it's helpful. Yeah.
It's helpful to know. Okay.
It's the same account. I think it's just use it for one versus the other.
Do we have a motion to move forward with the transfer? Tom,
Motion.
and a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think so.
Aye.
All right.
Speaking of
Is it-
facades that need repair, does anybody know what's happening to the old Waffle House space?
I saw them working on it today. It looks like they're working on the interior of the property right now. They have boarded up all the windows again, and they have been moving construction materials to that site. We've actually had streets shut down because they're moving some materials to the roof.
Yeah, ownership's mobilized with some contractors as of recently, so there is work.
What's
There's
going in
work
there?
currently happening.
New Waffle House? What's going in
It's
there?
the old one, that the building got condemned.
They condemned that building.
Yeah.
The floors between the second and third are held up by the jacks you use to hold your porch up when you're doing repairs.
Wow.
And our
So
fire
the whole,
department,
is that whole block condemned?
no, just that building.
Just
Just that building.
Okay.
So, and was it Sammy Flowers that was with the fire department, made the comment, if the building caught on fire, he wouldn't let his guys go in there. So they redid the floor where the Waffle House was, but structurally and cosmetically, everything. The rest of the building was never redone. There was not even windows in the back side of it, just raining in.
Well, they lost that tenant because they didn't fix the building.
Yeah.
So they're redoing it though to have it viable.
But they're not
Currently, I think it's in process of bringing it back up to
Yeah.
code.
Is that like the new piano bar in the Murchison building?
If you can figure out how to get there.
But I think the city and county are both involved on, I think it's 255 North Front Street. City and county are both involved in that one right now.
What about all the repairs going on in that corner space on front and Grace?
That's,
They put all new windows and everything.
yeah, Todd Paconis' building.
Still looking for a tenant. No.
Christina, anything else on the WDI updates? You want to go over the survey cards?
Yeah, nothing more on the facade improvement grant program. I do
Hey,
want to go over.
hey. Chance, real quick, do you guys need me for a vote? I've got to get off here because my flight's getting ready to board.
No vote, but
Oh, you gotta say.
if you're rolling off, that'll take quorum off, so let's officially end the meeting, and then I can give my updates to those that remain on. How about that?
Okay, yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Oh, that's fine. Motion,
Safe travels.
You can take the next flight.
take a motion to close the meeting.
Yeah, I do. Do I have a motion to?
Motion.
close? She got it this time. Are you gonna do
I got
something?
Sure.
All right,
We're
all in
good.
favor?
Safe
Aye.
travels, Tom.
Safe travels.
Okay, thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Yep.
Going through Charlotte probably. Right?
Yeah, everyone can stay on. We'll go through remainder of WDI's updates, and then if you need to drop off, drop off. I know Ryan's got a hard cutoff, so. Kind of a very informal, formal meeting.
Right.
Is that it, Christina, or do you have?
No, I do plan on, we have revamped the MSC ambassador cards and also, the mailers, we have done those as well. So these will be the new ambassador cards that we are going to be giving out to the local businesses and property owners and residents within the district. Just listing our services, and then on the back, Chance, if you could scroll down, there is a QR code that will link to our MSD survey that we've done, and it's all online now. It's a survey that's done through Microsoft Office. And we'll be able to take in and get feedback from the community by way of a spreadsheet that we'll receive all the answers on. And then the other QR code at the bottom here is one for our Bring It Downtown map. So this is an interactive map that WDI contracted with Bring It Downtown funding to produce an interactive map on the WDI website. And this QR code will link to that. So I really two initiatives here. One, to get feedback on the MSD, and two, to drive traffic to that portion of the website. And then you have the mailers. If you,
I don't think so.
oh, okay. Well, we've also done something similar for the MSD card mailers.
Did you send that? to me?
I thought I did.
Are those laminated cards or like a postcard?
So yeah, there you go.
That's it.
Yes, so the MSD cards, so similar to what the ambassador cards, these will be like little postcards that we'll work with a printing company to hand over and get printed to be mailed to the property owners within the district. And then we're also going to be putting out our MSD survey online in the WDI newsletter and on all of our social media pages. And I'll communicate with the city communications department to see what they would like to do with it as well. So we're going to really try and get good feedback this year. I know we've been kind of in a lull in doing this for a while, so get us back on track by doing this in a new, innovative way and not spend as much money on mailers as we have in the past. So hopefully this will be an effective means of communication between WDI and the people that we serve.
The card with the Explore Downtown Wilmington is a phenomenal idea, and all the people who are walking around downtown kind of lost. That link, If they can hand those out for all those people who are on their cell phone looking where to go, that's brilliant.
Or they don't, the ambassadors don't even have to hand them the card. If they don't want it, they can just take a picture and
Of it,
scan it
and have
and
it.
then use the QR code. Yeah, it's very,
Interactive.
it's very hands off. Or the paper.
What'd you say?
Roll them off the committee does.
So,
Forgot about that.
Well, I-
It's great. It's great work. I think I mean, you and I have
Yeah,
talked
that's-
about it, Christina. I think it's a good way to keep the survey kind of
No.
ongoing as well. So, and really grab the input throughout the year. I think it's beneficial across the board.
so the plan is to get these cards, the mailers at least released by spring, and also release online the survey, and hopefully report some of the feedback to this committee in mid to late summer. Hopefully we'll get enough survey results back to report to committee in mid to late summer. And then lastly, WDI is the agency that will be distributing the barricade passes for the Azalea Festival this year. I put out another survey that was released this afternoon on the WDI newsletter. It is a survey that just your name, contact information, the number of passes you need, which zone. I've shared it with DBA. Hopefully they'll release it in the newsletter too. But we received about 25, 26 responses so far. And it's just a great way to help me keep track. Everything gets populated onto a spreadsheet so I can keep track of how many passes are required and who needs passes when. We also have the option to pick up during normal business hours at the front desk of Common Desk, where WD offices are located, or drop off. And Ray, I received your request too, so thank you. I'll get you that. Hopefully I'll walk it down this week.
How do you get in to go to that front desk? The common desk?
At Common Desk, it's 8 o'clock to 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday and until 3 p.m.
Doors are locked, aren't they?
Sometimes they're open, but sometimes they are locked, but there's usually a
Somebody's
tenant
up front.
at the front desk to let you in. And that's all the updates for me, unless there are any questions regarding the
What are
MSD
the
February
dates for-
report.
Azalea Fest?
First weekend of April,
4th, 5th, and
First,
6th.
yeah.
4th, 5th, and 6th.
And the hot flashes are playing on the 5th at Greenfield Lake.
Who is?
Hot
The
flashes.
band I'm in.
Are you in that band too?
Yeah.
With Linda, our next door?
Yeah.
Hot flashes is
The
what you
hot
call it?
flashes.
Yeah, we play at 6, so it's old people hours. So we can,
Hours.
I'll go through a few city updates here. Actually, Nicholas is not here, but he had sent us kind of a list of questions to look at some stuff he'd seen downtown. Without him here, I'll go over some pertinent ones though. There are roughly, I think, 40 to 45 missing trees or dead trees downtown. City had put a bid out for that. Got some astronomical numbers. So what they have done, they've ordered the trees themselves, and the arborist and park and rec team will be putting these trees in over the next 3 to 4 weeks, I believe. Trees should be in town as of this week, so you should start seeing some mobilization and some new trees going in here in the next few weeks.
Question?
Yeah.
Did the city ever look into the
South Front
South Front Street request?
It's really engineering. It's their call. My last correspondence, I think you saw my last correspondence to Christopher Yermel was basically just, send us over the why of what you're trying to do. And it's really, he needs to talk to Brett Russell in city engineering directly. And it's engineering a right of ways call. So Brett's on that email chain. Brett's aware of it, so it's really engineering's call.
Okay, so we haven't received any response, not even absolutely not, or we're considering.
No, there were, I think there were some concerns from engineering for allowing it and just changing up kind of how those tree pits are in line right now. Other than that, I haven't heard much. So, but it's engineering's call.
It's a matter of 5 feet,
And it's a dead missing tree right now.
and it's a missing tree. Yeah.
But I connected the folks together on that one, planning, historic districts on that. It's really Sally just needs to know engineering's decision on whether or not to plant or not plant the tree. And it's really engineering's call. He needs to talk directly with Brett. So that's what I put in my response.
Okay.
Pier 33, work has commenced on the concrete portion of the Riverwalk there, adjacent to Pier 33. There was large sections sinking, I think a few inches, and also collecting water there. So the solution was they're basically injecting like an epoxy solution that actually raises the concrete up and should stabilize it back to flush ADA standards and kind of fix the ponding there. Works commenced on that. It's probably going to take a few weeks, I think, to complete. I think they started on the convention center side of that area out here at 33, and they're moving north, I may have seen it in the news. They are just starting the Riverwalk decking repairs on the south end of the Riverwalk. I think that's going to be ongoing for a few months. Sections at a time will be closed. And basically, I believe it's from Dock Street South. All of the old decking from the original portions of the Riverwalk are going to be
So they're
replaced.
not just patching, they're gonna do the whole.
It's the whole thing get in place, I believe. At the same time, I don't think this is commenced yet, but we have bid it out, contracted it. It's echoing over here. South Riverwalk as well, the handrails. They're actually pulling those out and re-powder coating. I believe they're re-powder coating the existing and then reinstalling them right now. I think some materials are ordered right now, and they're going through a mock-up of what the final product's gonna look like. But you'll see that work commencing as well, south end of the Riverwalk. I think once again, Dock Street portion south. And then the MSD team also did a light power wash at Beecher Park back in February. I think that one's going to be an ongoing, reoccurring. Some of those light posts are just starting to moss up a little bit from the original install. And then the only update I have, and I think I need to bring back more details with this and really get an official vote once we have a full quorum. Actually, more than a 7-person quorum too. I think more input's going to be needed. The tree well iron fencing that we had proposed for one-time fund, city put that back out to bid and got one bid again, the same bidder. He dropped his price by a few percentage points, but I think it's still coming in around $260,000 to $270,000 for 2-block portion. And we budgeted $150,000 for a 4-block portion. So based on that pricing to do the entirety of those 4+ blocks that just got streetscape, you're looking at nearly $500,000, which is an astronomical amount of funding.
That's using wrought iron or?
Yeah, and they proposed a secondary material. They didn't give us details on it. It only brought it down maybe $20,000-$30,000. So
This was in Charlotte, right? Where we saw it originally?
Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem?
Yeah,
Is
we
that
were.
contractor available?
We got pricing from them originally. That's kind of what we based our $150,000 on. They told us round one they didn't have enough time to submit the bid. Their surveyor was out of town. We talked to them. We answered some questions. We changed some parameters on the RFP and the timeline of the potential contract, and they did not bid. We think that they are essentially a subcontractor of the single bidder. So we're thinking they're probably manufacturing this, and then our bidder is taking their product, upcharging quite a bit, doing the install, and then that's where we landed. So one bid, extremely high. I'd like to get some more details on it with exact numbers, and then bring it back to the committee just for official action of.
Could we buy the product and have another bid for installation?
Possibly. potentially look at. I don't know if we're gonna have enough time to do it this year now that we're already in April. Something we can look at. I think the challenge is just gonna be finding an installer.
Get the Christmas tree guys from Myrtle Beach, the lights.
More lights?
No,
Maybe towards lights?
no, get those boys, they'll do anything.
Christine, more lights.
So the good news, let me compile everything, get more details, and I'll bring it back for just an official input and response from the group here. The good thing is we don't lose that funding. It's just not gonna be spent. It's gonna roll back in the fund balance unspent. So we can sharpen our pencils, potentially look at some potential revisions of how we procure it, whether it's the raw materials and then get a local guy to install it. I'm not sure how that would work. So I know Tom had mentioned somebody that he had that could potentially do it. But I never got full details. So it might just get complicated when it comes to that.
Can you throw one other thing in the mix? I know I mentioned it like in DC, that they sponsor, people pay, companies pay to do it in honor of somebody, and a plaque goes on it. Maybe an idea per well, what the cost is.
Yeah, we could, based on what they gave us per linear foot, I mean, we could put a cost together of what we just received based on linear feet. We've got each bed mesh out.
Yeah.
So based on a very, very high cost, we could put that number out there, or we could potentially have some conversations with that manufacturer out of Winston-Salem on if we could just buy the raw product from them with the dimensions and get some numbers. And then we just have to figure out installs.
Alternatively, can we, if it's going to cost that much money for anything that we do with those planting gates, could we get a bid to refresh our entire Front Street landscaping and do it right?
Yeah, we're not gonna have probably enough time to it this budget cycle. Because the way we structured that was through the city, so we had to bid it out, take it to council, public hearing, all that stuff. I think that's an idea of something we could do.
Could I bid for it and subcontract it to get it done?
Maybe just take a contract amendment on WDI's agreement this fiscal year. Let's see if we have enough time to get it done possible.
I don't know, I haven't spoken to a landscaping contractor on what needs to be done.
Something I talked to the park and rec team too, that's a big, even $150,000 is a lot of money. We might be able to defensively or design some landscaping that is more of a defensive approach to what we were trying to do with the fencing anyway. And kind of kill two birds, one stone with a more positive impact.
We forgot,
Just trying to keep my dog out of there.
that's true. I've got,
We'll just put a big
monkey
QR
grass
code.
around.
We'll put a big QR code in every one of them and you'll stay away.
yeah, so we've got the trees in front of the firehouse and we've
Free
got,
doggy bag.
we use monkey grass or liriopy. And can't even step in it. I mean, they're fun. Over there, you know, if you get to the firehouse on Castle, this side of it is just monkey grass and you can't kill it.
Christine, I'll schedule a meeting with you and Sally and Doug on the park and rec team. Maybe collectively put our brains together. We can talk about your zero market thing at the same time.
Okay.
And then just talk about a joint solution here. Even if it's not this fiscal year, it would very similarly be the same process. We'd have to take it to council anyway. And we can do a one-time fund balance poll for contract amendments.
Yeah, it would, okay. I just.
Because I think at this point now with landscaping, if we were to potentially go that route now and the process needed to amend WDI's contract, get that thing to council, get it approved, you're looking at May, June, and it's getting hot, and probably not the best time to be planting
Right.
with the water and heat and everything. So we might, if that's the route we go, we might strategically need to look at a fall planting or spring planting.
Next,
Maybe it's next spring, yeah. You get a plan in place so that come mid-March, we're out there mobilizing planting. So it's good and established before we start getting those crazy wet heat days in June and July.
I just see the corner of, or the median at Market and Third Street. It's done by the Cape Fear Garden Club. It's
Pretty
the most
nice.
beautiful planting
It
area.
looks so beautiful.
And I wish we had all of Front Street and all of Third Street looking to that caliber. I don't know if it's ever possible, but if we could have things to that caliber, going down our two main corridors, that'd be really nice. And that's something like, I mean, it's a lot of money for landscaping, but if we pick out certain sections that we want to look really nice. we could
It's also
probably
the
spread it.
maintaining of that landscape.
Well, the trees die and, I mean, the landscaping right now, we did stuff last year, the city did stuff last year, and it just goes, like, once the winter hits, it goes,
I
it needs to
think
be an annual.
You and I had talked
It's an
about
annual.
this a couple of years ago. I feel like maybe it was me and somebody else. Maybe this is something where if you want to go the route of landscaping, maybe we take a quadrant at a time. Like, so maybe you take Market and North Front Street, that corner, or that block, and start one year. Install it, plant it, maintain it, make sure it's good for that year. And then keep moving north, keep moving south.
Go private sector on the land.
Or maybe it's a
Yeah.
joint effort of sponsoring some of these planting wells as well.
Cause you can refresh 2-3 times a year.
The
And there's
challenge is
companies out there that
the challenge is
do.
the maintenance without water. That's the biggest challenge.
And most of it's gonna die over the winter anyway, so you have to replant and keep up with the landscape. Landscaping is not something that you just do and it sits for 3 years. You have to maintain it every year. Like, there's no rhyme or reason for it. And the ambassadors have done a ton of weed pulling in their past as well. So we can pull weeds all day long. We just can't. We don't have the funding to keep planting flowers. But some flowers would be nice.
Something like, coastal grasses and black-eyed Susans and some ivy, so when it's strategically done and water, it's gonna come back. So colorful gravel.
Did you say gravel?
Colorful gravel.
Yeah, this is a guy going to Arizona where they torch any grass.
But I'll bring full details back at our next meeting. And then Christina, you, me, Sally, Doug, Park and Rec, maybe get James involved in that meeting and just talk through some ideas. I think there's some options. We just got to figure out roles. That's it on my updates.
Anybody else? No, Elizabeth, Ray?
Ray, Elizabeth, you've been quiet. You guys good?
All good. Have a good afternoon.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
Excellent. We'll adjourn again.
We're adjourned.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.